Coming up on Market Shares, the January jobs report was released earlier this week. How Wall Street is reacting.
And the Senate fails to pass a funding bill for the Department of Homeland Security. What this pause in money means.
And Apple stock has the worst day since April. How the company is responding. Hold on to your wallets because Market Shares starts right now. Good afternoon and welcome into Market Shares. I'm Riley Underwood.
And I'm Tegan Brostrom. Let's get right into our market update. Red across the board.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
Red, celebrating for Valentine's Day.
Investors not celebrating so much as those who are celebrating for Valentine's Day because yesterday everything seemed to drop. Thursday was not a good day for the stock market, and it's all because of the tech sector. We're going to talk about Apple in just a moment. That was a big reason why, because the tech has been propping up everything. The AI and tech, that's why they've been green in our past shows. Right now, red because of the tech. So live by it, die by it. Right now, it's in the red.
Exactly, and I think a lot of these companies are just really unsure of how the tech is going to impact, money and stock in the future. So it'll definitely be interesting to watch moving forward.
All right, so let's get into our first market mover, and that's one of my favorite places to go to. This is McDonald's. McDonald's is in the green. They're up just under 0.75%. Up 2 points, and McDonald's, if you look at their charts over 5 days, over months, over 5 years, they're green all the way. McDonald's just keeps going up, and it's a big reason why is because of all these promotions they have going on. The Grinch meal is they were the largest distributor of socks. McDonald's was in the time that they were selling the Grinch meal. All these promotions, and actually the return of the value meal somewhat, still not as good of a value as it used to be with your dollar menu and everything like that. But they have noticed that consumers don't like the increase in prices. They've reintroduced somewhat of a value meal, and it's worked. Lots of promotions we talked about, like the Grinch meal, and it's going to keep going up because this Tuesday, Shamrock Shake gets introduced. I know that's everyone's favorite. Later this year, McDonald's will roll out some new beverages, including energy drinks, fruity refreshers, and crafted soda. So it seems like they're always innovating.
They've also started adding some caviar onto their McNuggets.
I saw that.
I don't know how I really feel about it. McCaviar, exactly. Seems to be pretty popular though. But moving from McDonald's to social media, Pinterest with the ticker PINS is down a lot today, down around 18% just today. And the company is saying that this is because of tariffs. And Pinterest isn't necessarily buying or selling anything, but their customers are, which their main customers is mainly advertisers. So those advertisers are being hit with those tariffs, and it's then impacting Pinterest's bottom line. Their fourth quarter earnings also came in this week, and at $1.32 billion in earnings, but it's a lot more below analysts' expectations. But analysts are saying that user growth is still pretty high on Pinterest. Like, a lot of people are using it, creating those boards, some mood boards, 2026 vision on Pinterest, but it's not helping them in their stocks.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't even know people still used Pinterest. But,
I use Pinterest.
You use Pinterest?
I do.
You're not using it enough.
No,
they're down a lot.
Exactly.
Let's get into our final mover, another stock in the red. We talked about it at the top of the show. That's Apple. Yesterday, Apple had its worst day since April. Stock dropped 5% yesterday, wiping out its entire gain for the year. It's dropped even more than 7% now. A big reason why the FTC is investigating Apple for bias against some conservative outlets on Apple News. So the FTC is looking into that. Investors, some of them are kind of getting out while maybe they think that this is going to progress even further. So yesterday was not a good day for them.
Exactly, and Siri has also had some delays on Apple as well. There's been a lot of they've suggested new things with Siri, but there have been delays with that. So I think that's also contributing to their lower stock as well.
Well, it seems like they always have all these new updates coming out with the iOS and everything, but this one was scheduled for Siri to kind of get a revamp, but yeah, it's been delayed, and apparently people pay attention to these things because their stock has dropped. Investors are not liking Apple at the moment. Well, job growth was stronger than expected to kick off 2026. Non-farm payrolls increased by 130,000, above the Dow Jones estimate of 55,000.
Unemployment edged lower to 4.3%, below the 4.4 forecast from the month before. The report was delayed nearly a week following the partial government shutdown.
President Donald Trump used the numbers as a sign of a strong economy, calling again on the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. In a post on Truth Social, Trump stated, "We are again the strongest country in the world and should therefore be paying the lowest interest rates by far."
And the healthcare sector led job gains, adding over 80,000 positions. Social assistance also rose, adding over 40,000 jobs. Some categories that posted losses included federal government and financial activity jobs.
The cost of goods and services rose at a slower annual rate than expected in January. This provides some hope that the nagging inflation could start easing.
And the Consumer Price Index rose 2.4% from the same time a year ago. That's down 0.3% from the month prior. This pulled inflation rate back down to where it was in the month after President Trump announced aggressive tariffs back in April.
Excluding food and energy, the core CPI was up 2.5%. On a monthly basis, these all items index was up 0.2%. The forecast was 0.3%. Food prices had a slight increase while energy and used car prices fell.
And winter storms and cold weather aren't the only issue people are facing this winter. The price of home heating bills is also soaring. Heating prices are expected to be around 9% higher for consumers than they were a year ago. And households are expected to have bills of $1,000 this winter. This cost increases are mainly driven by surging prices for electricity and natural gas. Electricity costs are expected to rise around 12%, while natural gas is projected to be up around 8%. According to the Natural Energy Assistance Directors Association, this trend is expected to continue over the next few years. Sounds expensive.
Unless there is a last-minute breakthrough, another partial government shutdown is due to begin at midnight. This comes as the Senate failed to advance a measure to fund the Department of Homeland Security yesterday. In a 52-47 vote, all but one Democrat, Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, opposed moving forward with the bill. The motion needed 60 votes to succeed. Here's Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer on the bill.
Today's strong vote was a shot across the bow to Republicans. Democrats will not support a blank check for chaos.
Funding for DHS, which oversees immigration and customs enforcement, is set to end at 12 a.m. Saturday. ICE will continue to operate if this happens, since they received billions of dollars in funding last year. Sounds delicious, and prediction markets are also heading into basketball season on a high from the Super Bowl. Kalshi saw record downloads during Super Bowl week, up 1,500% from the same time last year. Daily active users jumped more than 1,000% to nearly 2 million on the day of the game. That was almost 3 times the users on sportsbook BetMGM. More than $1 billion were traded for the Super Bowl, up a whopping 2,700%. This is only the start as major sporting events continue with the Winter Olympics and the NBA All-Star Weekend. And it wasn't just a win for the Seahawks this past weekend, it was a win for the network as well. Super Bowl 60 is officially in the record books as one of the most watched television events ever. Our analysts Vanessa Shimoni and Mia Carr are here to break down the massive numbers and cultural impact on the country. And I think also something that's taken off sports betting. I mean, you talked about it, you can do it on your phone, watching the game from the couch. And honestly, it just seems like it's getting a little bit ridiculous with all the Kalshi things because, yeah, you know, Super Bowl, it's fun. You can bet on what color the Gatorade's going to be. But now with Kalshi, you can bet on pretty much anything that happens. Vanessa and Mia, thank you so much for joining us. Well, coming up on Market Shares, tech giants begin a landmark trial over social media addiction claims. Betting, another addicting thing. How it's been unfolding after the break. Cisco Systems shares closed 12% lower yesterday as memory prices rise. It is the stock's worst day since 2022. Strong demand for artificial intelligence chips from NVIDIA has caused a global shortage of memory, sending prices skyrocketing. This has created uncertainty for a number of tech companies, including Apple and Dell, and chip makers like Qualcomm. Cisco reported better than expected quarterly results, but shares dropped around 7% as the company issued a mediocre forecast. Instacart's stock surged more than 14% after the company's results eased worries over grocery competitors. Instacart faces an increasingly competitive market as retailers like Amazon, Uber, and DoorDash scale in grocery delivery. The company is investing in new technology and artificial intelligence tools to drive more customers to its platform. CEO Chris Rogers called the concerns overblown and said the company monitors threats extremely closely. Wall Street viewed Instacart's results as a wave of confidence. The company expects between $280 and $290 million in adjusted earnings versus the $277 million that was expected. And a landmark trial just started in Los Angeles this week where lawyers are arguing that the algorithms that power Meta and YouTube were purposely harmful to their users. Market Shares analyst Drew Matiasik joins us in studio to bring us through what this case means for the future of these platforms. Drew, what will happen if the plaintiff wins in this case? It seems like the plaintiff has kind of been going around the App Store tour, suing everyone she can find. So what apps could be next? Welcome back to Market Shares. You're going to want to double check the name of the show and the prices if you're planning on buying chocolates for Valentine's Day. Chocolate prices are up over 14% year over year. The higher prices reflect a lingering effect of a global shortage in the primary ingredient, cocoa beans.
And that shortage, driven by poor harvest from extreme weather in West Africa, has sent cocoa prices skyrocketing. Its futures went from around $2,500 per metric ton to nearly $13,000. The good news is that cocoa prices have come back down to around $4,000. But the bad news is that chocolate items on the shelf this Valentine's Day are a lot more expensive.
I know we're going to try some, but not in the Market Shares budget since the prices have skyrocketed so much.
Exactly. But Riley, what's your favorite go-to Valentine's Day chocolate?
What are my choices? I mean, the Hershey's?
Or like Reese's peanut butter.
Oh,
like
you got to go with the
heart-shaped.
Reese's. There's nothing better.
Good. I feel like when they're in the fun shapes, they taste better.
Is that true?
I
Sometimes
think so.
they say the ratio
the
gets
hearts,
mixed up a little bit.
The Easter bunnies.
What's better?
I think the hearts.
Better than the Easter bunnies?
Yeah.
I think they all taste the same, but that's how they get you, that marketing. That's how they get you right there.
And then it's even more expensive this year.
Well, that's all the time we have for you on this episode of Market Shares. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CitrusTV News and like us on Facebook. I'm Riley Underwood.
And I'm Tegan Brostrom. Have a great night and a great Valentine's Day, Syracuse.